Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Community Chats. So today I'm joined by someone from the Empire of Disorder Guild. It's going to be MoistSOB87. So welcome to the channel, Moist. Now, I don't want to ask you how you got this username because they might ban me on YouTube, but go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, for one, you made me 10 years older than you needed to be. It's 87, 77.
My bad.
uh, it I got my first Xbox Live handle when I was, I don't know, 16 or something like that, and I had to make an account, right? And
Yep.
everyone wants to use their names, like last name, acronyms, and everything I picked kept being full. But I wanted to use SOB because the first three letters of my last name. And then they're like, well, take a look at this list of names we could pick from. And I saw the first one was Moist SOB. I'm like, that's it. That's the one I'm picking. My girlfriend absolutely hated that word. She hated it. And every time she'd have to turn the Xbox on, it would say, greetings, Moist SOB.
I mean, that's pretty hilarious that it was kind of a random generated one too. So it's not entirely your fault. We'll blame Microsoft for that one.
And it's stuck in every gaming platform since. So
That's cool. No, it's great if you're able to have the same handle. More or less, I've had my same one. Sometimes I have to add like an X or something, but it works out. So anyway, like today, what we wanted to talk about is just more on Datacrons. And you're in a guild that's a pretty territory war heavy competitive guild. So I think you guys are up to like 415 million GP now. So you've increased maybe like 30 million since in the last one month or 2 months. I think you did some reorganization. But the first thing I
we
wanted
did.
to talk, yeah, go ahead.
We did. And we had a lot of natural organic growth because everybody in our guild is PvP focused and everyone does everything they're supposed to every event. So no one misses galactic challenges, no one misses TBs, T-dubs. Everyone plays Grand Arena to their best ability, so it happens fast.
Ah, that's good. I wish some members of my guild were the same. I mean, we're more of the active works for me, but yeah, there's definitely some people that need to pull their weight a bit more. So yeah, on the Datacron discussion, there's two kind of topics we wanted to cover. The first is more talking about it from the guild perspective, and then again, since you're in a territory war focused guild, and then like you just said, a lot of the members are all PvP focused, so that's gonna, Datacrons are gonna apply across the board. But from the guild perspective, what are you guys focused on? Like, how important are Datacrons to your success as a guild, first of all, and then we'll kind of just take it from there.
Well, since we embraced Datacrons when they first came out and said, hey, these are like rental mods for the entire team, which doesn't allow you flexibility on modding for certain counters. So if you need more tenacity on a squad and that is a current set for a Datacron, you can farm for those and add them on to whatever you're modded for already. So I think of them as huge rental mods for the entire squad. Um, I don't know. I don't want to give away too much of our theory crafting, but a lot of things that are already out there is obviously in this set. A big one is the 3-pot cron, and it is being used to counter Galactic Legends. So the more of those you have, you can use that team to counter Galactic Legends, and allows you to place more of your own on defense.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your Datacrons now here on screen, and you have two of those Chupio level 9 Datacrons, so I'm pretty jealous. I've been trying to get one myself and haven't rolled it yet, so have
You
a few more days of conquest. I think I have, this last territory war to try to get some more reroll mats. But yeah, that seems to be a pretty powerful one that is good. So, talking about that, there's usually, one or two really good Datacron specific stats that come out on each of these sets. Obviously, the Chupio one, the 3-Pac one now is what everybody is after. So, are you as a guild like requiring all your members to try to get this, to re-roll until they get this, or to invest crystals perhaps to buy the materials to try to go after it?
So I would say it's 85% voluntold that you should probably have this cron. But sometimes it does happen when you see guys have re-rolled, 6 times and they just didn't get it. Well, you can't help that. It's just RNG. It does happen. We saw you tried, and it does happen to a couple people every set where they might have the greatest team and they just cannot get the Cron that we need. It happens. Some guys will. We all spend crystals on conquest refreshes. I do 3 or 4 daily, easy. So I hit all the bonus nodes for mats that I need, and obviously I'm looking for certain things. So let's say I pick a brand new Datacron, right, and I roll the first level, and it ends up like resistance. Well, that's garbage. So you pretty much can just chuck that one in the blender right away and start with another one.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at again looking at you have 4 5 level 9 ones for this most recent set. You have a lot of quite a few kind of stuck at level 3. Probably you just the ones you have at level 6 and above is enough for the teams you have, and then you have a lot of level zeros where you're probably just you're I'm sure you were farming that first bonus node to get all the currency you could to keep leveling up. So um, you have a lot to work with, it seems. Now, going back to the guild in Territory Wars, you require like all your members, like, for every team they set on defense. Is Datacron required to be part of that, or really just depends on certain squads?
So right now, it absolutely should be. If you have a full team going on defense that's Relic 3 or higher, it should have a Datacron on it. It does happen if you use the hot utils placement tool. Every once in a while, someone maybe thinks they clicked on add a Datacron and it skips it, and then the defense squad gets placed. Well, you can't go back, so it is what it is. It does happen from time to time. But yes, it has absolutely a requirement. If you are placing a Relic 3 or higher squad on defense, it needs to have a Datacron.
Okay, and are you finding that like the opponents you're going up with? I had your guild. I don't have your pulled up now, but you guys had a pretty good win streak going on, and you were more or less dominating everybody. I'm pretty sure you full cleared. They were probably clearing half of your squads. Are you finding that at that level, that 380 million plus bracket, that all the defensive teams you're going against are also setting Datacrons?
No, which is a huge advantage for us. I mean, I would say so. This last territory war, the Tuesday Wednesday war, we lost. We went against Mighty Chlorian's syndication, and they are a very very good T-Dub focused guild.
Hmm.
They lost a couple members and had to bring in alts, and had 1 or 2 people not sign up. So they did it on purpose, sandbag, but they did get matched up with us, and we were definitely matched up well in some areas, and then some you just couldn't overcome. So a lot of it was Galactic Legend inadequacies. We did the best we could. I think we cleared more than I thought we would, and unfortunately, as a guild territory war officer, we made a bad call picking a counter early in the match that kind of screwed us later on. So it happens. You do your best to guess what you think their defense is going to be. Um, but that's one example of a very good guild that we knew was going to be tough. There's some matchups we get where, and I hate to say this, like we get the matchup and we're green like down the board. I don't even want to set a full defensive board. I'll set the first 4 zones and set absolute purple and blue tunes behind it because they're never going to get.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, you like I said, I have your guys' record pulled up here, and it's domination across the board, like 35,000 to under 20,000 territory war points or banners most of the time. So that's really impressive that you guys are able to put that up. And I think Datacrons, especially on defense, make it a huge difference. There's clearly the normal counters to Galactic Legends or to the other meta teams, but once you start putting Datacrons on them, it just takes it to another level. And then you have the territory war specific Datacrons. Now, are you guys getting any use out of, for example, the new Droidica one? You don't have to
We
tell me
do
the
have
strategy,
we
but
do
how do
have
you feel that
a
that one is working out for you all? Sorry,
I
that's
mean,
that's
on a
Omicron, so
defensive
that's not. I
standpoint,
mean, I
it's an
guess that's not.
Omicron, but
Yeah.
there is a set 6 Datacron that has Droideca, and I do have that. Um, and that's one of those teams where, on GG on defense, you want certain stats, one of them being defense. I don't know if you can pull mine up. I think my Kron has like almost 200% defense, I think. The
Wow.
one that has DDK from set 6. So yeah, he's going to be a real bitch to get through. You probably need nothing short of a Galactic Legend to take it down. So
Yeah. So let's talk going back to the individual part of Datacrons and how you farm them. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but if you're okay to start, you obviously have the level nines. You kind of know what are the characters that you're targeting to try to get to the level 9 eventually. But as you start leveling up, level 1, level 2, I know you mentioned it a bit before. what are the types of stats that you're chasing? Are you chasing more offensive stats? Crit chance, crit damage when they have those, armor penetration, or are you looking for more defensive stats, or kind of a blend, just depending on what team you plan to use it with?
It is a blend because all teams are important, and obviously everyone's rosters are different. So, like for me, this set kind of stinks because I don't have resistance. Emphas Nest for me is not relic. Bad Batch, I don't even have them farmed. But one thing I do have is I do have a kick-ass Fulcrum. So the first thing I saw, I was like, oh yeah, armor penetration is back. Absolutely going for as much as I possibly can. I think the crown I bring with her on offense has like 200% armor penetration plus, she has a ton of offense. So my Fulcrum's pretty good. It takes down GI level 9s. So
that's very good. Yeah, so I think it's you really have to see what are the different stats that are coming out in each of these sets that are released, and then really match them to the types of characters and the kits that those specific characters have. I mean, it's a lot of work, I think, to put in the time to understand what you need, but it definitely will pay off. I mean, I'm sure in Territory War, you guys are seeing the payoff in Grand Arena. The opponents. You're in Kyber 3 right now as well, right?
yeah, I'm like high. I was balanced between K2 and K3.
Yeah.
Depends on what. In K2, I usually make it up to, or I'm sorry, in threes, I'm usually into like mid K2, and then in fives, I go back down to like top K3. So I kind of bounce in
Okay.
that area.
And the rosters you have are, I mean, you're like right around 8 million, right? So you probably are playing people that are on average, what, 1, maybe 2 million higher than you, maybe around 9 million in K3. K2 is probably higher than 10 million, right?
It depends. Yeah, anywhere from 9 to 10. A lot of guys that are focused like me with eights. And they're usually the guys that have a ton of Datacrons like I
Yeah.
do. And then I'll see a lot of 10 mil guys that must be in TB guilds and don't care, and they'll have like 3 Datacrons, and I'm like, well, that's a pretty even matchup then because they're gonna have to go through all my junk.
Yeah. No, exactly. So I don't know if you're one of the 15 or so people that watched my last 2 Datacron videos, but I kind of made the comment, Kyber 1, Kyber 2, I think it's pretty much mandatory that you focus on Datacrons if you want to stay there. When you get to that Kyber 3, if you have Datacrons, I think you're gonna be kind of firmly in Kyber 3 with the chance, depending on how your roster is, to get up into the Kyber 2s. But you're going to face a lot of probably higher GP accounts, Kyber 3, Kyber 4, but they don't really, I don't see them focusing on Datacrons. They might have 3 or 4, but the amount that you have, which is kind of insane, you're going to vastly outnumber them. So pretty much as long as you have that full Relic 3, Relic 5 team that you can set, you'll get the use out of them.
And that is correct. That's what we're seeing. And then also we're seeing the squish. It happens every season, and there's usually someone in the metaverse that posts that report. I think we're down to like 2,000 or 1,500 Kyber 1 players. Well, guess what? The rest of those guys that aren't in K1 are now in K2. And the rest of those that are in K2 are in K3. So it just kind of trickles down,
Yeah. But I think everyone rosters, I think it's kind of settled about where people are going to be now. So now you're going to start seeing the people that focus on Datacrons, as they start adding more GLs, meta teams, they'll kind of climb. I think now getting to Kyber 1, if you're not there already, is extremely difficult just because the GP is high. They probably have all 7 GLs and they have that Datacron focus. So I think it's really tough for most people to get up there now. So moving on, talking a little bit, I just want to talk, Moist, about how you go about farming Datacrons. So in Conquest, obviously, is the place that you can get it. So you have that 2 weeks during when Conquest is running. Obviously, you're trying to advance through all the different sectors, get the highest reward crate that you can. But then you also at the same time are wanting to farm Datacron. So how do you balance, pushing through all 5 sectors, trying to do all the feats, trying to max out the crate, while at the same time, focus on farming up Datacrons, whether that's getting the actual Datacrons or focusing on the materials?
So I unfortunately have to rep one person. So everyone knows Bit Dynasty. His conquest planner is absolutely awesome. It helps you farm your daily feats at the same time. Every single day, I know our guild leader and our officers preach this to everybody. 3 refreshes a day minimum. And if you break into the hundreds, that's cool too if you have the time and the crystals to do so. But usually most of our guild is done through all section 5 in the 4th or 5th day. we're done. Like, we're through the whole entire conquest. And then from there, it's time to farm global or sector feats on bonus nodes. So, like, don't even, unless there's a cheese you need on the mid sector boss, which does happen, and those are fine. But a lot of times you want to have all the globals farmed and all of the sector feats farmed on the bonus nodes. So, sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone here knows by now you get crons and currency on 1. You get currency in the level 1 mats on 2. 3, you get a mixture of the 2s and 3s. Bonus node 4 is, I think, the most important one, where you get the higher, elf 6, 7, 8 mats, along with the mid mats. I think that's the one I farm the most because you can always buy currency with either crystals or shard shop currency. So I think I spend the most time on node 4 for sure.
Okay. No, and I would say that's similar to my approach. I definitely don't get through all 5 sectors in 4 or 5 days. It usually takes me maybe 8 or 9. I'm through, but I think I refresh 2, sometimes 3 conquest energy per day. Really just depends on the stamina of my team. I'm still, I have plenty of teams that can kind of push through, but then, before I have the right data disk set up, sometimes it's a bit, slower going. But then, yeah, I think what you mentioned, once you push through as fast and as far as you can, and then you go after those global and sector feats on the bonus node. So that's what I've been doing. I think the last 3 conquests rounds, I've really focused on that. Before, I wasn't really too concerned about Datacrons, but it definitely, from where I'm at, you have to have some type of focus if you want to stay competitive in the PvP matches. So yeah, I think that approach is good. It's good to hear where you're saying, on that sector 4 bonus node, because you get some of the higher currency materials, which is good. Typically, how I do it is I farm up a few actual Datacrons, and then I start leveling them. And then when I get stuck by not having the right currency, I'll go and just farm whatever bonus node that is. So good to hear like how quickly you guys are kind of pushing through and focusing on it. And I agree, like Bit Dynasty's guides are pretty solid, especially if you have the roster that can actually accomplish, a lot of these very grindy feats.
Sure. And along with that, sometimes a lot of the cheeses don't work. So people don't have certain tunes, but don't worry. I guarantee someone out there has seen something different or better. It might take you 2 or 3 more tries instead of doing it in one, because you can usually cheese them out pretty quick. I can also say that I know when the first conquest of a new set rolls around, like when set 8 comes, I guarantee like most of our guild is going to be pushing absolutely that first day. Like, I think I do like 6 refreshes maybe, and I literally exhaust teams because I'm trying to get those crons before T-Dub locks that day usually. So
Okay.
usually it's a like for that first match, because if you got them and they don't, you definitely have the new set. So
No, that's a good point because I like the territory wars, and there's probably like a grand arena lock-in as well, like the same day, right? So, if you can push and get a couple sets up quickly, I think it will definitely gives you the advantage in that first matchup, maybe even the first week. So, I think that's definitely good advice for all the viewers and for all players out there. Is try to just on conquest push and focus on advancing as far as you can. Not yes, there's some feats you want to try to do as you're going, just so you don't have to go back and do them again. But then once you do that, all of these kill 500 enemies, win 40 battles with this faction. You can do those on the bonus node. So that's good advice. Moist, is there anything before we wrap up? Any other tips or tricks or best advice you would give for Datacrons in general, whether that's farming or how you should be using them? How maybe like if you're coming up, you have a 6 million GP roster to 8 million. Maybe you still don't have full Relic 3, Relic 5 teams. How much focus are you now in between big projects, focusing on bringing up characters to basically complete the full Relic team to use
well,
Datacrons?
I can tell you that even number one, don't ignore Datacrons. They are there. They're not going away. Everyone knows that by now. They're not going away. If you are a competitive person and you do want to win in JC and for your guild for TW, you need them. I could say that even if you just get stat bonuses, if you get level 1 and level 2, and let's say you get armor penetration both times, excellent, great for CLS, Fulcrum, a variety of teams. Even if you roll health or defense, great for General Grievous teams. You don't have to take them all the way up to level 9s like we do a lot of times. Even if you get just the bare bones, 1, 2s, and 3s, or let's say you do have one Relic 5 team across the board that can take that cron all the way up, then that's the one you would focus on and put your materials into. I recommend strongly for everyone, you should have one Datacron per team. So if you have 5 Relic teams, 5 Datacrons. You got 10 teams, 10 Datacrons. And that's where the end game guilds like ours come in. We have pretty big rosters by now, and it does take a lot of work and conquest to get those things. But along with that, we have the rosters to do that. So when I use 6 refreshes in one day, I had a lot of teams to work with. It goes hand in hand. So
No, I think that's definitely good advice. Like, people coming up, if they're kind of early game, maybe just hitting, that 4 million GP, they're not going to have a lot of full relic teams. So they should still focus on Datacrons, but, maybe they just need 3 or 4 total for their teams that have it. So they can really focus on going to the highest level, getting the best stats they can. They don't necessarily need quantity. They can focus on the quality of the Datacrons. Maybe that means they're not refreshing Conquest as many times. But yeah, I think that's good advice, trying to match the number of Datacrons you need exactly with the number of relic teams that you have that are usable.
So
Very,
to go with that, I mean, I have a baby alt that I'm using to help friends run another guild, and I've been playing it not passively, I would say, but every day I play it. I do GAC and we do T-Dub and all the stuff. And it's a young account. I'll send you the link here real quick, but just to show you, this account is 2 million, okay?
mhm.
And I want to say I have the 3-Pac cron on this account, and yep, 3-Pac is R7 to use it. So I plan on going Jabba killing in this next T-Dub at 2 mil. So I'm gonna do it. Um, I'll send you the link real quick, but this is just inspiration for young accounts. You absolutely can do this. You just have to put in the time. And really, even on this account, I think I did 1 refresh a day. That was it to finish. And then I went back and farmed the nodes that I needed and worked up 1 or 2 crons that worked well. So um, you absolutely can do it. You just have to want to do it, is what I tell people. You have to want to play the game, and if you do, you're going to do well. So
Yeah, let me just pull it up here on screen real fast so people can take a look. So, I mean, I think that's good advice. Like these newer accounts, a lot of the things in the game is, Relic 5 is kind of required across the board for the challenge rank, or at least, for now until that's removed. So if you can focus on bringing these full teams of characters up and then putting the right Datacron on it, it will make the roster powerful, even at that level, even if you don't have a GL. So you have like a fully Relic Padme team, you have the CLS team, obviously, and then it looks like you have almost a Shack clones team. So you have essentially what 3 teams on that account that can use them. Plus, you could probably use a solo Vader with one, things like that. So that'll help you punch up. Definitely in Grand Arena, and then if you're in a smaller guild, helping them. If you can take out those type of galactic legends with the CLS team is just amazing.
yep.
All right, man. So thanks for joining, Moist. I think we definitely we went over the time that we were planning on, but we didn't hit the 40-minute mark like the last community chat. But I really appreciate having you on. Look forward to you keeping in contact with your guild, kind of seeing how you guys are doing. Um, it's been fun, like getting to talk to you all. So we'll come up with some other topics to talk about as well. But no, thanks for joining.
Sure, no problem. May the force be with you.
All right, well, thanks everybody else for watching. If you go ahead and please like the video, subscribe. I think there's a link somewhere up above, so go ahead and click that. Check out the other videos of the community chats we have, and we will see you around the holo tables.